Welcome to the Fractured Families podcast. I'm Charity, your dedicated parental alienation coach, here to guide and support families as they navigate the challenges of high conflict divorces and custody battles. On this podcast, we'll share insights, practical strategies, and hope for those on the journey toward healing and justice. Whether you're personally experiencing these challenges or just want to learn more about the complexities of parental alienation and custody disputes, you're in the right place. You are not alone. This is the Fractured Families podcast, where every voice matters and every story is heard. And if you find my conversation helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us reach more families who need it. Hi, thanks for joining the Fractured Families podcast. I'm Charity, your host. I had with me today Adam Murphy. He's going to share with us his story of alienation, his relationship with the narcissist, and where he's at today with being separated from his children. Adam, thanks for joining the Fractured Families podcast. Why don't you start by telling us a little bit about your situation? How many children do you have? How long have you been alienated?
Well, I have four children, two of them with my ex, and I've been separated since August of 17. It started when I filed for divorce in 2017, and I basically was trying to get out of this abusive relationship, and I felt like it was the right time to do that. And when I did, I didn't realize what would come out of it. I was trying to get custody of them. I lost everything. I lost my job, my way to provide, and due to the poison water in Flint. And so I was trying to get involved in the community as much as I could, and with me being poisoned and my kids being poisoned, and just trying to make good decisions with what I realized had happened. She basically started the whole game of trying to take my own biological kids. I'm claiming that I wasn't the custodial parent of my son, who is 19 now. You know, it was horrible trying to get my kids out of the home, and I had to basically get a police officer involved to get my own biological kids out. She would then say that I was the non-custodial parent, and she told the state that I was the non-custodial parent, and so she was collecting cash assistance over my oldest son, Kai. And my other son is on disability because he has a disability, and so she was trying to get that money, and she would tell my kids, like, don't tell your dad, but she would buy all these little things with all of his money that was supposed to go into helping his disability. And she spent like all the $2,000 that it was supposed to go to him on Wish, and she would tell my kids not to say anything about it. So I had to fight. I had the inspector general come into my parents' house and ask whose child this was, or whose children these are, and then obviously I had the birth certificate. Her name wasn't on the birth certificate. And basically they closed that case, and they basically just gave her a slap on the wrist and said, don't do it again. There was no repercussions. There was no like you have to pay it back or anything like that. Mm-hmm. Then she had a restraining order against me. I had the police department come to my parents' house, serve me with the restraining order. Because it was out of their jurisdiction, the state police got involved and had to escort them onto the property. It was based on, she said I raped her. She had no evidence of that. When she said I was a dangerous man and all this craziness. And then when she said that I raped her, it wasn't even lining up with the dates that she was giving. I mean, I had all the text messages. I was actually at a town hall meeting when she claims I did all this. And she was praising me. She was rooting for me because we were trying to say that the Flint water wasn't better. So she got CPS involved, and she wanted to say I needed supervised visits because I'd spanked Lily in the past, and she recorded it.
How long were you married by the time you got divorced in 2017?
9 years.
Okay, and of the four children, how many did you two have together?
Two.
Okay,
Two
and so
two children.
you came to the marriage with two of your children already outside of her.
Yes.
And so one of them was the 19-year-old Kai.
Yes. And then Killian,
Uh,
who's
Okay,
17.
okay, but they were quite younger at that point.
Oh yeah. When I had full custody of him, Kai was 3 and Killian was 16 months. Yeah, we were actually living in a different state, so I was back and forth from that state.
You had two children together.
Yes.
Okay, so then Lillian was one.
Lily and Declan.
Okay, all right, so
Lily's
let's go ahead.
12. She's 12 now. She'll be 13 in June. And Declan just turned 9 in March.
And those two children that you had with her are the ones that she's keeping you alienated from.
Yeah, I just don't understand how people can keep up with the games, the narrative, this narrative that I'm a dangerous monster under their bed. After I went through the whole cycle of supervised visits, because the court ended up ordering me to have supervised visits, and I finally achieved what they were looking for, and I showed no, you know, I wasn't unresponsible. I was very much playing the court's games and doing what they told me to do, and I finally was going to get my kids without supervised visits. Well, my sister and her husband and her family were out in Africa, and they were on their they were just coming for a break from Africa, and I wanted our kids to see their cousins and just have a good Christmas. She sent a picture of my son with a belt mark to the supervisor and saying Adam's not getting his unsupervised visits because she took a belt. I think it was her, but I don't know. There was other people in the house, but I don't know who took the belt to my son's butt. But she waited 5 days, and the forensics doctor that she took him to basically said the bruise was 5 days old. He wasn't with the father. And the CPS got involved again for the second time. So for almost a year, I did not get to have a personal relationship with my kids. And CPS came to my kids' school and interviewed them, which was pretty embarrassing, I would say, for them because they just started a new school, and it just was like chaos from one thing to the next. It just never stopped. She hacked my email account. She deleted my Facebook page, and they call it rolling it over. Like, she took her cell phone, and just put it on my account so I wouldn't have a way of communicating because I couldn't afford to pay I mean, I have a job, and I was in the middle of trying to get disability. So she drained my bank account, took whatever little bit I had in there. Um, I mean, it just kept going on and on and on. It just never stopped. And then with the belt mark, I proved my innocence on that. I proved my innocence on the the allegations of rape. And I remember my dad, when I went there, because I had to get a police escort to get my belongings and my children's belongings out of the house, she's on the video saying, I'm going to get you, for 25 years for rape and all this stuff. And then, moving on to the next craziness is she got my ex-wife, my first marriage, involved. And she had told me, because I remarried like a couple months before the boy's mother died, that she was going to come after me. And she was plotting this to take me down. That's what she kept telling me. I've been married 3 times. My wife passed away back in October of 22. and I was in another state because I had to leave to go to another state to take care of her because of her conditions. But while I was taking care of her, my son Declan, at that point, I think he was 5, he had said, I seen the marks on my butt on my mom's computer. And I said, "You did?" And he says, "Yeah. And I know who put it there." And I was like, just dumbfounded. Like, what? Like, okay. Because I remember people saying, Adam, your kids are going to get old enough. They're going to start to talk. They're going to start to kind of say what's been going on. And that's exactly what happened. So he told me exactly what she's been putting in his head. And that was my first time ever realizing that she was trying to create this narrative that I was a dangerous dad. All I ever wanted to do is just have my kids know me and that I love them and I want the best for them. And that's what I was trying to fight for. I was trying to fight for equal, rights. I never wanted to take my kids away from their mother. Even though I knew she was an ugly person, she was very dangerous. She overdosed me on my own medication when I was having seizures. I mean, just the constant. I don't know. I feel like she was trying to like get my life insurance money, and what a perfect way to do it. Like
Mhm.
poison you with your medication and say, "Oh, it's the Flint water. That's what killed you." You know what I'm saying? Like evil, just straight
Mhm.
up disgusting. And later on, I found out what narcissism was by being around people that were very manipulative. But she's a professional. Like she's a con artist and she could cry on cue. Like, when we were going through the divorce, like I remember her, like she would be laughing at some point or no tears. I mean, tears just rolling down her face within a snap of a finger. Like, and then she would stop crying. And like, I remember she thought I was the best thing on planet Earth when I was working and when I was providing for her daughter because she had a daughter, and I paid for everything. I paid for her medical bills. I did more for her than her own dad did.
Mhm.
But she wanted me to adopt her daughter.
So when did you start to notice that it was alienation? Was it when you were still married in the household? Was it
Oh, it was
after the
later on when
divorce?
I started researching
Hmm.
narcissism, and I think I found your video
Hmm.
on parental alienation, and I realized,
Hmm.
oh my gosh, this is what's going on. She's trying to create separation by, like, when I call the kids and I talk to them and I only get like
Hmm.
2 days. I get Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I get like a little bit of time to talk to them because I'm in another state. um and when I would start to talk, there would be something like she would be in the room or she would create certain events around my time. So she was trying to prevent me from having that little bit of personal time with them on the phone. And I just felt like this is exactly what's going on. She's just trying to like send the kids out to what they call it, the Boys and Girls Club. So it's Monday through Friday. Why does she have to do it on Tuesdays and Thursdays? Or my daughter would be at her friend's house on the day that I was supposed to be talking to her. Like she knows this. Or she would to keep me from like I'm allowed rights to know what's going on in their personal life, like school and doctor's appointments and counseling. Like I should be knowing like at least like who their doctors are and some of the information
Hmm.
that they're, whatever they're going through. Like I should be able to have that information. Well, I called the school to find out why my daughter said she was failing, and I wanted to find out why, and they wouldn't give me the information. And I'm like, it's my right as her dad to have that. And then I find out she was supposed to give the school my information, and she didn't. She was supposed to send me a calendar. She didn't. She says she did. I know she didn't because I have this third party app that they set us up with through the courts. And she makes it look like she's the best thing on the planet. But and when I go to communicate with her, it's you bastard, like ripping me to shreds on me questioning her as a parent. Like I just you asked me if I had an opinion about something, and I gave her my opinion, and she goes, "You're questioning me." Like I'm not questioning you. I'm so sick of the games. I'm so sick of it. I just want it to end. I just want my kids to have know me. Like I
So
want
let's
them to
talk about
know.
that. Let's talk about where you are today. So it sounds like you have 2 days a week. Or like, what does the 2 days a week look like for your visitations today?
It's not much. I get a Zoom meeting with them on the phone,
So you don't
and
have any in-persons at all?
no, because I'm in another state. And yeah, I went to court, spent like $4,000, and hired an attorney, and I got supervised visits again at my parents' house in another state. And so I'm like, so I had to go there. They had to watch me watch my kids, even though I have kids of my own that I raised, and they're thriving where we're at. They're just having an amazing life outside of that abusive chaos. Like it's just they're they're just thriving. They're having the time of their life, and they should be. And I feel like my two other ones are being abused, and they don't really know me, and it's all because she won't let me have a good relationship. My parents are like, the courts didn't even ask my parents if they would do the supervised visits. They just threw it on them. And so I had to do 3 visits and then revisit the court. Once I did the 3 consecutive visits, then they would revisit and figure out if I was. I mean, mind you, I was taking care of my wife who passed away, and I get unreasonable amounts of just making up stories and trying to get my kids to think I don't love them, or I just don't care about them because I'm in another state. But I have a really good support system here.
So your two younger children, when was the last time you had an actual unsupervised parenting time with them?
This past week, I was able to bring my kids out here for 1 week. That was an incredible experience. Incredible.
How did they adapt? How do they adapt in going from being in her primary care to being with you for a week?
That's the thing is Declan, every time he's around his mom, he screams, he has these like fits. And Lily is super reserved. Like when her mom's not around or in the room, she can actually feel free to talk. But I found out that when they came here, that they just felt more free. Like they felt like they could be themselves, and they could enjoy their brothers and enjoy their time. Like they didn't want it to end. But I felt like when I went to go take them back, Declan did this weird thing. As soon as I pulled in the driveway and I opened the door, he's like, "Ew, ew, get me out of here! I want my mommy." It was like a switch. Like it just
Yeah.
like he turned it on. Like he went from freedom to misery in a matter of seconds.
He had to exude that he was unhappy. He needed to make sure that she did not think he had fun because he knows that he's going to be in trouble if he had fun with you.
Yep, that's exactly it. And I feel like Lily, on the other hand, she just wanted to be here. She wishes that she could be with both parents, but she goes, When I want to come to West Virginia, that's where we're at." Just the things that we showed her about West Virginia, they never seen mountains before. Like they never seen other kids, like because we were part of a homeschooling community, and they got to go and experience how to read a map or how to make medicine with herbs, and just all the cool little outdoor things that are here. Like Lily, she really likes the outdoors, but she lives in a city, so it's not something that she gets to do. And she just was like so amazed by this place, and she goes, I want to be, I want a relationship with you. Like she opened up to me. She was very, but she's afraid of her mom. and she feels like there's this homeless family that's living there, and she feels like they are stealing her time with her family. And when she wants to go to the store with her mom, she doesn't get to do that. Her mom will take her brother, but she stays home. And she'll take the homeless kids, but she won't take her. And so I feel like Lily's the scapegoat and Declan's the golden child. But Declan's the youngest, so she can manipulate his little mind to feeling like she's justified and she's got more control over somebody who's younger. She can really
Mold
doctor up
him.
stuff. Yeah, mold him. Yeah, that's it. Molding. And she's doing that. She's doing just that. Because every time I talk to him, it's just disrespect. The
Hmm.
phone's in his face. He says things that he shouldn't be saying as a 9-year-old. Like, oh, you don't have to worry about that. Like, because I asked him about like how his school's going. He goes, you don't have to worry about that. Like that's not your business. I'm like yeah, it's my business. Like I want to know how you're doing at
Hmm.
school.
So you sent me an audio clip. I'm going to play that, but I just want our listeners to hear what he endures while he's in her care.
Dad, you remember that picture when you spanked me with that belt when I'm crying and in the room?
No, I don't remember that.
You spanked me with a belt when I'm like a baby.
I
like
did?
one, and you spanked me with a belt when I'm crying, and you get irritated, and then you spank me with a belt, and my mom, when it comes, and waked up and saw it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How do you know this?
It's in the past.
Oh, when did you hear this?
My mom told me.
Oh, okay.
It's on her computer.
Oh, okay.
But just don't worry about it. It's just something my mom's really irritated.
Oh, okay.
Okay. What?
Okay.
You know, I just happened to be walking by, and you are not going to put that on me.
I didn't.
You told me about this stuff. Don't use me as a scapegoat.
I didn't.
Because I'm not allowed to talk to you about stuff like that.
I didn't.
I just heard you say that I said something. What did I say? Don't put words in my mouth, Declan.
Wow. Anyways, that's awkward.
So where
Yeah.
are you with the custody? So you've had them for a week. That was great. What are our next steps with the custody?
Well, I want to get more time with them, and I want to bring them out here for the whole summer if I can manage to make that happen. But finding an attorney that can I don't have a lot of money, so finding an attorney that can represent me is one of those things, or just somehow figuring out a way to I don't know, get their mother to go to another concert so that she can have her freedom. But I'm not. That's the other thing. Lily's like, well, I'd love to go to a concert. Like, oh, well, yeah, me too. Like, maybe when you guys come out here, we go to a concert. I think she didn't have a way of finding somebody to watch the kids, so she really wanted to go to this concert in Ohio, and so she went to the concert. But when I was like, I'll take the kids anytime. Like you can give me the whole summer if you want to go to a million concerts. You know you can do that. But I felt like she knew it was my third and final visit with being supervised. That was the other thing. The Declan said he didn't want to go to grandma and grandpa's because they don't understand me. And so Lily tried to say that's not true. We had a blast back in Christmas and we did so many great things. And he said, no, we didn't. And so she believed him, but she wouldn't believe Lily. And we had a blast. My parents are like, what do you mean they don't like it at grandma and grandpa's? They did before, but now they don't. And so I think that was her way of like trying to steal. I don't even know how to communicate this. She was trying to manipulate the narrative that Declan knows what he's talking about, and you don't. And she didn't want my parents to have. It's almost like she was punishing my parents because they know that I was doing a great job. So if you take the parents and you punish the parents, they won't have. I don't know. It's so confusing.
Well, the goal of the alienating parent is to hurt anyone around you, anyone that enjoys time with the children. So if you have a great relationship with the step siblings or the half siblings, they want to break that bond. If they have a great relationship with the grandparents, they want to break that bond because they only want the children to be obsessed with them. They want the children to be constantly, in awe of what that parent does and that everything about them is great, when in reality it may not be, when in reality these children live in fear, but they're not able to say, I'm afraid of you, mom or dad, and I don't want to be here because they know what the consequences of that are.
And I think that's where
So let's
Lily
talk a
is.
little bit about, yeah, let's talk a little bit about your oldest son and how he recognized what she did, and after you left, how that was for him.
Yeah, so my oldest son really knew his biological mom. Like he had a relationship, and what he remembers of that was pretty good for the most part. But he also experienced like some of the alcoholism that his mom struggled with. And so that's essentially why I got custody of Kai and Killian, was because their mother was in rehab trying to get better from her demon. Like I call it a demon because it's so controlling. And so realizing that his stepmom got to talk to his biological mom, but he did, really, really impacted him. And then finding out that his stepmom knew that his mom died before he even knew. And she wanted the gratification of telling my boys that their mom died.
It's
And
horrible.
that really is why I believe he wants to share his story with you, is that
Yeah.
not only did she try to steal me away from them or our relationship, she stole the time with their mom. And they wanted to talk to their mom, but they never got to. Not because they didn't want to or I didn't want them to. It was a personal choice. She just avoided everything. She avoided, when I look at it now, her mother alienated her from her own kids because she was a sick person. She was depressed and very, very evil. And she could never stand up to her own mother. And her mother kept her from her own own children. And so their whole life, they wanted a relationship with their mom, and she didn't, and they never got it. I think they saw her after the divorce 5 times. And 2 of those times she stayed in my house, and that's it. Now she's gone. So all the questions that he ever wanted to ask her, he'll never get to. That's who she was. I don't know what she was trying to plot against me, but she and her were trying to bring me down for whatever reason. But they thought they could get Kai and Killian away from me. And so that's my question, is like, why were you talking to Kai and Killian's mother? Like,
And you didn't know about that at all.
no, I didn't. Actually, I was taking care of my wife when I found out that their mom died, and it was unexpected. Like, nobody knew why she died or how it happened, but she just fell over dead. And my
And then your
sister,
second ex-wife told the boys.
no, she wanted to tell the boys, but my
Okay.
brother-in-law and sister were watching my boys while I was taking care of my wife, and they wouldn't let her. They said, "Oh no, you're not doing that. We'll tell them." And so she didn't get the gratification of doing that.
It sounds like your boys, older boys, have been through a lot, and a lot of it was directly because of your second ex-wife, who you now have the 2 children with.
Yeah, it's just been hell. I don't know. And then, Kai, I remember one time I was sitting there having a conversation with Declan, and Kai's watching it all go down. And he's sitting there trying to watch a movie while he's supposed to be talking to me. And he's like, yeah, I'm not supposed to watch this channel and I'm not supposed to watch that channel. And so I'm like, okay, so why is it on your TV if you're not supposed to be watching it? And Kai's like, why is he watching TV? Like he he said, why was he watching TV when he's supposed to be talking to you? I said, because I'm in competition with everything she put in place so that I don't get to have a meaningful discussion with my kids. Like she has these homeless kids there or homeless family there. And instead of me having a conversation, I'm competing with Declan, who's only 9. So his train of what do you call that? Where
It's
kids,
attention to focus.
yeah, focus time is like minimal. So when I have his attention, it's distracted by all these other kids, and I'm supposed to like. He's like, oh, we, he's like, well, I just want to play one more game, or I want to go play with my friend, and I'm like, okay, well, you can play with your friend, but I just want to talk to you. Like, I want to have a conversation with you, and after we're done talking, then you can go play with your friend. And he's just like, no, I want to go play with my friend. You can talk to Lily now. And so it's like, okay, let's talk to Lily. And Lily wants to talk to me. Lily
Yeah.
doesn't, she said something about her sister monitors the conversations that we have since her mom can't be in the room when I'm having the conversation. So she uses her daughter as a tool, as a weapon, or I would say tool in the, and so my kids don't get that freedom to have a good, meaningful conversation with me. And it's only a conversation. Like, it's not like they can just go to dad's for the weekend and see dad and their brothers. It's like on a phone, like you and I are having this conversation. It's not, there's no, it's just not, it's not the greatest way of having a relationship with your kids. So if I could, I would drive, if I could afford it, I would drive up there and see them every weekend, but I can't, I just can't afford to do that. But if,
What does the obligation for support look like? And is she taking advantage of that?
well, she tried to, but I'm on disability. When I finally got on disability, she was arguing with the Social Security about not taking the minimal money that the kids would get towards like they get Social Security from my Social Security. And so she didn't want to take that. She goes, I play things by the books and I'm not taking that. You're gonna pay me child support. And I'm like, oh, so you want to take the only little bit of money that I have and you want me to pay you on that? So what am I supposed to live on? And the lady I talked to, she goes, oh no, this isn't enough for your children to have a pretty
Yeah.
decent amount of things. And so they each got like $10,000 and they each get like two something a month. So I think that's pretty reasonable considering I'm on disability.
Yeah.
Because I know people, they pay $1,200 every week in
Yeah.
child support, and they
Oh, yeah.
have to work 2 more jobs just so they can pay their bills. And it's a sad thing and then not to mention she got my house, she got my car, the house that was in my name, like her name wasn't even on the deed, and they gave it to her. They gave her my house, my car that I paid for. Like I had bought a van and I paid that van off in 2.5 years on a 6-year loan. I paid it off. It was mine. And as a matter of fact, I think it's still sitting in her driveway, and she hasn't even changed it out of my name because I don't dare question what she does, but she questions everything I do, like everything. And as a matter of fact, the last time I saw my kids in Michigan, I told my mom, I said, you watch, she's going to write a book after I drop them off because she's going to interrogate them.
Yeah.
45 minutes on my way back to West Virginia. 45 minutes. I got a story saying, oh, why are you talking bad about me around the kids? Which isn't true. It's not true. Like, I wasn't talking bad about you. She wanted me to like engage, and she
Yeah, of
wanted me to
course.
like she wanted the attention, and I just didn't give it to her because I was told by many professionals that with a narc, just don't want to give them any contact if you don't have to. And that was my biggest like fear is like, okay, so how am I supposed to am I supposed to leave my kids, wait till they grow up and then have a relationship with them? And because I just I can't do it with this lady. She's unreasonable, and you can't reason with an unreasonable person. And I self-reflect. I look at myself and I say, well, I'm not a narc, am I? But I find out that if you're asking yourself that, then you're probably not a narc.
Yeah.
I think some of us have the tendencies of narcissism, like here and there, but I don't. It's not like I'm like self-glorified and look at what I do, and like I look at myself, like I try to see if there's anything I can change. Like I'm not perfect, but in her eyes, she's the best thing on the planet. Like she wants to run for governor. I'm like, good luck with that.
Well,
So.
Adam, any final thoughts before we close out? Any final thoughts for our listeners on what you're going through, what you learned, and what you can share?
I just feel like this is a crisis everywhere. Like I know I'm not alone. I know so many people are going through this, but I just feel like I don't know how we can change the laws so that the courts can criminalize this, because it's a crime. It's abuse. It's wrong, and it should be a crime. A crime against kids. And the kids need a healthy environment, and that people shouldn't abuse the system for what it's meant for, like CPS. And doctors, like the forensics doctor that I didn't even share half the stuff, but it just makes me sick. And I know I serve a God that is a big God, and I know he's capable of exposing this for what it is and helping people along the way, because I couldn't have done this without God. So I believe in miracles. I don't know. I just say that you're not alone, and we need more people with these stories to share, because it's a problem. And I think our legislators, Congress, states, whatever, needs to change these laws so that we can hold these people accountable for the abuse that it is. So I appreciate letting me come on here and share if any of it made sense. I hope it made sense, because it was, but anyways, so appreciate it.
Adam, thank you of course, and thank you for joining the Fractured Families podcast.
All right.
Thank you for joining me on this episode of the Fractured Families podcast. I hope our conversation has provided you with support, understanding, and actionable insights to help you navigate your own family challenges. Remember, healing is a journey, and reaching out for help is a sign of strength. You're not alone. If you found value in today's episode, please subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Your support helps us reach more families in need. You can contact me on social media at Parental Alienation is Real, and visit our website for additional resources and ways to get involved. Stay strong, stay connected, and keep fighting for the family bonds that matter most. Until next time, take care and stay resilient.